If you create a new Google Doc without a template, this is what it's going to look like. You literally just went from here, click to new, Google Doc, and it'll automatically open up an untitled document. In order to format it in MLA, it has to be 12-point font, so you'll go here, and it has to be Times New Roman, which is going to be all the way down here. And then this fancy little button, line spacing, needs to be double spaced. That is for the entire document. Your margins, which is basically that white space between where you can type and where you can't, the edge of the page, have to be 1 inch. If for whatever reason yours is not 1 inch, you need to go to File, Page Setup, and all of these margins should be 1 inch. If they're not, you need to change it back, and then you can set it as your default. If you're writing an essay, what you're going to do is you're just going to click up here, and you're actually going to rename this your first and last name, and then the title of the essay. That way I can search through anything and I'll be able to find it. You'll just click back off onto the main page. From here you'll do MLA heading. So again, your first and last name, my name, your class, and the date. So whatever the date is that you are doing this. Now, this is not MLA formatting. Yes, it is the date. However, the way that MLA wants you to have it written out is actually by writing it out, like so. You'll hit enter once, and then you're going to go up here. This is where it's justified. It's called justified in Word documents. In a Google Doc, it's called left aligned. So everything needs to be left aligned except for your title. Now, you don't have to name this Anthem Essay because you already wrote that it's your Anthem Essay up here. I don't want that. For MLA titles, they need to be creative and related to the topic. So if you are writing an essay about Anthem, which is a novel, and maybe you are writing about identity and struggles, then your title can have to do with identity, struggles, that kind of thing. You'll hit enter one more time, and then here we have to left align it once more. If you don't, it's just going to look like a mess. Here you'll hit tab, and then you can start writing. Every time you start a new paragraph, it is 1, enter, and tab. Something that is oftentimes missed with MLA is what's called the header. This is called a heading, ing. What goes up here is going to be called a header. So what we're going to do is we're going to insert, and we're going to go to header and page number, and then we're going to insert page number first. And it's always going to be this one. If you notice, it automatically creates a little 1 up here. We're going to click on the left hand side of it, and we're going to put our last name and then hit space. Then we're going to highlight the whole thing, and if you notice, it reverted back to its automatic setting. And so we're going to change that to Times New Roman and 12. We'll put our cursor right in front, and then we're going to hit the enter key. That way it moves it down to where it's supposed to be. For whatever reason, Google Docs likes to automatically have it up here, when in reality it should be right here. If we print it and it's up here, it'll get cut off and then we won't be able to see it. In order to create a Works Cited page, which you have to have for MLA formatting, you're going to hit insert, and then you're going to go to break, and then you're going to do a page break. There is also a column break, but that's only if you're working with tables in the document itself, which you won't be most of the time. So you're going to hit page break. That automatically sends you to a new page. So instead of hitting enter a ton of times, it automatically just created a new page. Now if you notice, our header is automatically counting our pages for us, and it keeps our name there. We will want to center justify and put Works Cited. We're going to hit enter and then hit that left align once more. From here we actually have to do some formatting changes. If you notice, there's always going to be a ruler up here at the top. This is actually telling you where your indentations are. So if I hit tab, it didn't move this automatically. If I backspace that. But if I move this guy, it'll automatically indent it for me. We'll move that back. For a Works Cited page, you actually want to keep the first line of your citation as far left as possible. So we're going to leave that little square one here. The triangle, on the other hand, which we might actually have to move it all together, we're going to have it at 1/2 inch in. So if we have to, you can split it like that. And what happens is, when you write your citation, you'll put author's last name, right? After the author, you're actually going to italicize, that's what it looks like, italics, the title of the book, which is Anthem. In order to shortcut that, instead of hitting this button all the time, you can actually just hit Control and I. Control I again, and it'll remove it. After this, there are lots of different things. So if you have an article or a movie or a novel or anything like that, the way it is cited is a little bit different. But I'm just going to add things to make it a super long line, because the citation for this novel isn't actually very long. So typically you would put the author, the book, the place of publication and the publisher, and the date. Not a very long line. But I'm just going to add just random stuff here. If instead of a novel, if it was an article, we could write this: the guide to welcoming students into college and careers, because I'm a teacher, why not? Comma, and maybe that was found in the New Yorker. And it was published on March 3rd. Oops. 2015. It wasn't. This isn't even an article. I'm just making it up. And it was published in New York. Awesome. So if you notice, on our second line, it automatically indented it for us, so we didn't have to do that. And that's because we created this up here, where our first line, which is going to be this first line indent, is staying on that left side. And then the left indent, which is going to be essentially that second line or third line. So if I were to just randomly type, oops, I hit enter. That was not what I meant to hit. Keep going, like that. If you notice, third line. Some citations are this long, most are not, but that's the way it goes. If we have multiple texts, we'll hit enter and it'll automatically jump us back here. And say our other author is Cox Huxley. That's his first name, and then of course I would put Brave New World, so on and so forth. We could go from there. Now if you notice, Rand and Huxley, we are actually going to put them into alphabetical order. So what we would do is we would simply switch them like that. If we have more, say we have another text and it was written by Smith, Tim Smith. Don't know who that is, but whatever that looks like. Maybe he wrote an article on justice. No idea. Here, we wouldn't have to move him because he's already in alphabetical order. So on a Works Cited page, it will be structured as alphabetical order by last name of the author. First line is all the way left, and then the second and third lines are going to be indented like that. If you have any questions about citations, you just need to go to Purdue, I spelled that wrong, Purdue OWL, and that will essentially give you everything you could possibly want to know about MLA formatting and citations. And that's about it. Because you created that page break, if I keep writing, just lots of writing, and I end up hitting 3 pages, if you notice, it automatically sent this page back down. This is why you want to use that page break. Otherwise, you would have to reformat, and you'd have to hit that enter button a cajillion times, so on and so forth. So that's about it.